Hey guys, my wife agreed to try out an exercise program that's designed to get you your first pull-up in just 5 weeks. It actually claims to get you 5 pull-ups, and it was designed by the author of the Pull-Up Solution, an online PDF designed to make you better at one exercise, the pull-up, for the bargain price of $47. The main program is 12 weeks long, but the one promising 5 pull-ups is just 5 weeks long. It requires you to train up to 6 days a week, and then you rest for a few days before trying out your newfound strength. It starts with pre-testing to establish your baseline. The program is designed for either people who can do 1 or 2 pull-ups but want to do more, or complete beginners like my wife. So you're first asked to do a maximum set of pull-ups or chin-ups. If you can't do that, then it's a flexed arm hang for time. And if that's not possible, then an active dead hang for time. When I say dead hang, I mean straight arms, and active is about engaging the muscles that pull the shoulders down and away from the ears, as opposed to a passive hang. She couldn't hold the flexed arm position, so tried the dead hang, which she managed for 12 seconds. I thought grip might be the limiting factor, so she repeated with wrist straps and managed 18 seconds. That performance then dictates which stage you're on. Stage 1 is not being able to hold the straight arm position for 30 seconds, so that's where she starts. If you can hold for 30 seconds, then you move to stage 2, which is flexed arm hang in the top position. 30 seconds there, then you move on to stage 3 at negative reps. Those involve starting in the top position and lowering under control for at least 3 seconds to full extension. Once you can do 5 in a row, you move to stage 4, which is up to 10 negatives with assistance on the way up from either a resistance band or just jumping. If you can do 10 of those, you're on to full pull-ups, and 5 quality reps means that you've completed the program. Week 1 was a prep week. There's a series of mobility exercises to undertake daily for a warm-up, as well as practice drills to do on several of the days. I also dusted off my hand grip dynamometer, and on 2 days each week I asked her to test her grip. These figures were around 30 kilos per arm. I wanted to boost her grip a little bit before going into the main workout, so for 2 days she also did a rack pull isometric, which is holding the top position of a deadlift for 5 sets of 10 to 12 seconds with 90 seconds rest. Weeks 2 and 3 involve the high frequency training method, which is a common approach to push-up and pull-up training. The idea is to do a lot of sub-maximal sets spread across the day, so you're never going to failure, and that minimizes the accumulation of fatigue. In this way, you can build up a lot more accumulated time under tension compared to doing just one single workout. So week 2 involved choosing 5 days a week and working at 60% intensity, increasing the total time under tension each day. In week 3, it's then bumped to 80% intensity and 6 days a week. What that looked like for her was about 3 to 7 sets in week 2, with about 10 to 15 seconds per hold, which she felt was about 60% of her capability. Week 3 was in the 20-second range, and on day 3 I asked her to try 1 set of 30 seconds to see if it was possible, and it was, so she completed stage 1. Even if you do complete a stage halfway through a week, you're asked not to change exercise, so we continued doing the dead hangs for time. On the last day of week 3, she was struggling with sore hands that were tender around the calluses, and that continued to be a problem for the rest of the program. There's a great explanation of callus development by Mark Ripto, where he shows that by establishing the initial grip with your palm, the bar then shifts in the hand due to the forces acting on it, squashing a roll of skin. A better approach is to wrap more with the fingers, so the bar is already in its kind of final resting place. Week 4 opens with 5 maximum effort sets with full recovery, starting with the highest stage that you can handle. This was when she did her first controlled negative rep, followed by 4 sets of active hang, 3 of them reaching 30 seconds. Session 2 again relies on working down the stages, so do as many sets of the hardest variation and drop down when you can't do any more. This is effectively a giant drop set and allows only 15 seconds rest, ending when you can barely hold the bar. She did 1 negative again, then 9 sets of active hang, holding the last one for just 2 seconds. You have to take at least 3 days rest before moving on to week 5, which involves training 5 consecutive days. Days 1 and 5 are 6 and 7 max effort sets respectively. Day 3 is the giant drop set. On days 2 and 4, you take the maximum reps you can do of the hardest exercise, in this case 2 negative pull-ups, multiply by 5, and do that many reps using the high frequency method with the goal of not accumulating fatigue. What that meant for her was 10 single negatives spread across the day. After the 5-week program, she rested for 5 days, then she had a squeeze of the dynamometer and registered 38.5 kilos with her dominant hand, and then it was time to try the stages. If we look at the 5 stages outlined at the start of the program, she'd already completed stage 1. Despite 5 weeks of training, she still couldn't hold the flexed arm hang for more than a second or two, and personally I feel like stage 2 is more challenging than stages 3 or 4. I tried a 30-second flexed hang and you can see how much my body is shaking by the end, whereas I can quite comfortably knock out sets of 8 to 10 dead hang pull-ups without a problem. Her best effort during the program was 2 consecutive negative pull-ups, and when we tried a full pull-up after the rest days, she could barely move from the straight arm position. So the program did not deliver on 5 pull-ups or even half of 1 pull-up. My main criticism of the program is how difficult a 30-second flexed arm hang is compared to the ultimate goal of doing 5 pull-ups. It's also clear that doing countless sets of active hangs, while very good for your grip, has little to no carryover to being able to hold an isometric in the top position. Given that she started with just a 12-second active hang, I was impressed by how much she improved. Her maximal grip strength went up by 25% and she was able to hold a 30-second active hang by the end. It may not be the best way for her to get her first pull-up, but repeating the program, now that she can do a few negative reps, would probably yield further results, and the milestone of doing the flexed arm hang could be taken with a pinch of salt. I've since read some other pull-up programs, and the 2 that looked most promising were 7 weeks to 50 pull-ups and the Armstrong program. Both of these incorporate mixed grips, so you've got your standard, your neutral, and your supinated, as well as the simple act of increasing volume each week. So if you're looking to improve, then I would start there. I have adapted what I feel like is the best aspects of each program into my own weekly protocol. Access to that is available in the description below. Thanks for watching, guys.